People often ask me for advice when they are going into a journey like this. And I do have some advice. It's not necessarily the step-by-step advice that people want in that opening conversation about change. The mindsets of change are really important. And these are very broad mindsets that will help you go through the process of change. At the foundation is honesty. Honesty is so important that I've worked it into my Name Your Shadows framework, your Transform Shadows framework that you're going to make your own. And naming shadows is really important because you have to start from a position of honesty. The thing is that none of us can change anything if we don't begin with something that's honest, because honesty is the foundation of everything that you're working with. Now, the next one is more interesting in many ways, and that is curiosity. So much around weight and weight loss and health and wellness centers around shame in our society. And personally, I'm in my mid-50s, and I felt that shame for decades. I felt like these were personal shortcomings in me, rather than things that were inborn. And the more I learned, the more I got curious about myself. And the more I'm curious about myself, to understand myself, the easier it is to change myself. And when I understand myself from a position of curiosity, I am withholding judgment on myself. And that is super important in this journey. And when you can be honest and curious, you can also be practical about who you are. And being practical means that I can talk about binge eating in a way that I've never talked about binge eating in my past. I, in fact, did not say that I was a binge eater until very recently, within the past few years. And what happened when I said that I was a binge eater was not that I was ashamed anymore. It gave me a way to understand myself. And when I became curious about it, I could start to work to solve it. And when I can talk about it, I can talk about it the same way that I talk about the fact that I need glasses to correct my vision and to work with my vision so that I can live a better life. I put sunscreen on my skin to make sure that I can be out in the sun and enjoy life. I buy clothes that fit, shoes that fit. All of these things are very practical ways that I live with who I am in my day-to-day life. Binge eating, overeating, no different. There is no shame in saying this. And when I can admit it and be curious about it, I can then be practical about it. And all of that leads to a broader feeling of agency. Personal agency is really about finding your power. I often use the phrase, you need to be the hero of your journey. People don't necessarily like to think about themselves as heroes, but they do like to think about finding their power. And when you feel your power, that's when you are your best self and able to make those changes. And truly, it is the way that change happens. It is through your power, through you owning the changes, through having the mindset changes and shifts that make these changes possible. So be honest, be curious, be practical, and be the hero of your journey.